Well, the government right now says that forest guards are now trained and have been deployed into the bushes to confront these terrorists. But we know that, these non-state actors are being heavily armed with sophisticated weapons that, modern technology. Now, how well would you say these forest guards are they trained adequately enough, and do we even have the firepower to confront, this insurgents?
I strongly believe that training makes the difference. Like I mentioned earlier, we keep reacting. We are not proactive. Like I mentioned, even in the private security sector, we have enough hands that when you put in much into the training of these men and women who are in the private security, it's like, we're a big reservoir that the government can tap into. Nigerian police are about 370 or thereabouts. Then if you check the calculation, almost like 100 are probably protecting the politicians, the VIPs, and other duties. So let's say about 270 or thereabouts. Now the president has given a go-ahead for recruitment of about 20,000. That is not still
enough.
That is not still enough. I believe there should be better engagement with the private security sector. I'm not saying that we are all this, but reasonably, especially in the communities.
I hear you, Mr. Adigwu, but if you look at it critically, we keep recruiting, and some of these personnel actually complain about welfare. They complain about inadequate funding. Now, do you think even if government adopts, private security to be able to fund, despite, our security architecture is heavily funded, by the way, but do you think that it's sufficient enough?
In a state of emergency, a lot of steps you take are not normal steps. In times like this, the government should also expedite the reforms in the private security sector, because the nature of challenges we face now are not just the one you go with the fist. These are armed insurgents, armed kidnappers, and the kind of war, if we want to call it war now, it's an asymmetric war we are in. So we can't keep on doing the same thing and expect a different result. The private security companies should, even if it's the less lethal weapons, they are approved to, just to help. There's an emergency, for God's sake. There's an emergency. Especially the level of insecurity we face are mainly in the communities. Imagine we have about close to about 4 million private security operatives in Nigeria. If we take out about 1 million who also understand the basics of security and give them adequate training and take them to these vulnerable areas, I think it will go a long way. Because if you put all the state actors together, the army, the navy, the police, and whatever, but they are not still up to the number of those in the private security space. And because they are not just there, they are there as a business, but also adding value. It's an essential service. So government should engage the private security practitioners.
All right.